Yeah, cool. That was better than I thought it would be, to be honest.
Hello EFD squad and welcome back to Continental Club, where we discuss the hottest topics in European football. Joining me is two little spices, including my brother-in-arms. I'm more Dijon. I'd say you're paprika. Yeah, good.
I say
I like it. I like it.
And Joseph, how are you, gentlemen?
I'm kind of gobstopper.
If only.
Anyway, first subject is Gareth Bale. We've spoke about the Welshman before, but his situation has evolved in a very interesting way in the last week or so. Now, it looked like he resurrected his Real Madrid career at the turn of the year, didn't it? Displaying good form, starting irregularly, coming off the bench, but now, after failing to start against PSG and Leganes and Sociedad, there's been a couple of big papers that think his time at Real Madrid is definitively over. They're speaking about it in almost absolute terms, aren't they, Joseph?
Yeah, basically the two papers are The Independent and Marca. I think a few other papers have started to quote them. But the theme is that he will definitely be sold in the summer. He was close to leaving last summer, they claim, but this summer it will definitely happen. They're looking to revamp the squad completely, and Gareth Bale's exit will help that. I think the basic premise of the article, just to give you guys a bit of context, is that Zidane kind of sees him as a bit of a loose cannon. He brings him on when he needs something explosive, something a bit surprising to happen, but he doesn't particularly like him as a team player.
So that's interesting. That's something we've not heard before,
yeah,
isn't it?
because obviously there was a quote the other day from Zinedine Zidane where somebody said, "How do you think Gareth Bale played?" And he said, "Well, you know, he played his own game," which kind of summed up the story quite well for The Independent.
Yeah.
But off the field, there's also a few issues. Apparently, the Madrid players aren't too happy, still hasn't learned to speak Spanish, doesn't involve himself in any team activities at all. He's kind of seen as a bit of an isolated player. There was a quote in Marca as well that said he plays on the field how he lives off the field. An isolated life, doesn't really speak to many people. He's away from the team, and when he comes onto the pitch, he's not part of that cohesive team unit that Zidane's trying to build.
Pretty damning.
Which is not great, especially when you've got players like Asensio who are very much part of the team, have a lot of friends within the squad. Zidane gets him to play the way he wants him to play, whereas Bale's off sprinting down the wing where he should be coming in central, doesn't do much defensive work. So I think Zidane's got a bit frustrated with him. I think the players have got a bit frustrated with him. His agents also started to pipe up saying, you know, if he does move, it's going to be a Neymar transfer, £200 million move. He's going to be on massive wages, which I can't really see. He's going to be 29 by the time he makes his debut for any new club.
Yes.
So as Bale's game evolves, I don't think he's progressed away from that explosive impact. I don't think he's ever become a sort of positional striker. He's still very much that winger that relies on pace, comes inside. I don't see him as an out-and-out goal scorer anymore.
Yeah, it's perhaps going to be more difficult for him to change
evolve
his game.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe attract a new suitor as a result of that. Sort of like Ronaldo, right?
But I think that's arguably one of the biggest problems. I don't see any route to a new club now. Where does he go? I think Man United, Mourinho's spoken very publicly, we filled our attacking spaces. I don't see a route back to Tottenham. They would have to rip up their wage structure completely, and they're not even willing to give Alderweireld 150k a week to sign a new deal.
Well, the thing about his agent was Jonathan Barnett. He said he sees him as a £200 million player and should be paid accordingly. So we're looking at astronomical wages signing on fees, aren't we? And as you rightly pointed out, it's not something that Daniel Levy necessarily facilitates.
100%. And also there's a few quotes within the article where Real Madrid effectively, when him and Neymar were sort of on a similar level, have just seen Neymar go 10 levels ahead of where Gareth Bale is, which I think is arguably fair enough. You know, he hasn't played a full 90 minutes since September now.
He's actually missed 78 games, lads.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
That's like a third of the available games since he's gone to
Yeah,
Madrid.
so where do you see him going? I literally cannot think of a home for Gareth Bale.
I can do it, but I have to squint a little bit. I mean, if he was fit, you'd think Bayern Munich. If it were 18 months ago, then you'd think maybe one of the Milan clubs because they're pumping cash in.
Yeah.
Weirdly, I kind of feel like that. I feel like the most likely destination is Chelsea. I feel like the best destination would probably be like Atletico Madrid. I think Atletico Madrid are reasonably likely to lose Griezmann, and I think Bale would be quite an interesting replacement because, as you say, he's not entirely a centre forward, though I think that could be possible still, and he's probably going to lose his explosiveness and maybe not be as much of a winger.
Will Atletico pay the wages?
I don't know. But up front, in a front two, you could see him being really, really exciting. Plus, it depends whether Real Madrid would do the business with them. Chelsea makes more sense, though, from a business point of view, purely because we know that Real Madrid are interested in Courtois. And Chelsea, they've got Pedro, who's okay. They've got Willian, who's very good. But all these guys are around about 30
Would
years
you be
old,
willing
and they
to
might lose
sacrifice
Hazard.
Courtois in the pursuit of Bale? I would say you shouldn't do that. I
Not
think
particularly.
that's a poor move.
I think it's easier to replace Courtois, though. I don't actually think Courtois is that outstanding a goalkeeper. And if you could do something like a straight swap, I don't think it's necessarily the worst idea in the world.
I think at current, Chelsea are well within their rights to ask for money as well on top of that deal, which would be a good deal for all
But
parties.
I think in Real Madrid's eyes, it would almost be the reverse in Real Madrid's eyes. They want money and Courtois for Bale.
But this is the thing, like if Marca are publishing this stuff, and Marca and AS are normally very careful not to publish stuff that is
negative
going to be, or that is going to make life difficult for Real Madrid, then this sounds like they really, really want to get rid of him because this is the kind of stuff that drives down a price.
Yeah.
So if they're saying this kind of thing, then I don't know. I think if his price drops to 70 mil, if it drops to 65 mil, you know, somebody at some point is going to say, yeah, Jesus Christ. I mean, like, he's still Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
We'll pay 60 mil and see how he goes.
Yeah.
Well, within the article, they were talking about a price of £90 million
Yeah.
being enough for Real Madrid, 90 million euros even, so
Yeah.
less so. And Courtois, the summer, 12 months ago, was rated at 100 million, wasn't it?
What about Juventus?
So it'd be
I
an
know they wouldn't be able to
interesting
pay the wages.
See, this was Juventus were going to be my sort of next point. I think Chelsea maybe had their fingers burned with an injury-prone forward player who was sort of never the same after these consistent injuries in the form of Fernando Torres. They've not been spending huge money recently, have they? Antonio Conte might be departing in the summer, so there might be a bit of upheaval there. Bayern Munich still haven't signed James Rodriguez on a permanent. They do need to replace Robin and Ribery, don't they? But they've signed Goretzka. It doesn't strike me as the sort of business they do for.
I think they're more likely to go after a Pulisic for 90.
PSG
I think so as well.
will be completing the purchase of Kylian Mbappe, won't they, for 180, 90 million euros.
Yeah.
So they'll have to offload talent, you'd imagine, so that
Big
FIFA
time.
stop hounding them down about financial fair play. They've still got Pastore, they've still got Angel Di Maria, Draxler. So even PSG, which was a kind of reasonable destination for them 12 months ago.
Yeah, they're problem
Don't see it
solvers.
now.
Probably not so much now. You were 10, 15 episodes ago on Continental Club, you were pretty excited about the prospect of him coming to Manchester United.
I
Now
think
Alexis Sánchez, as you said.
I would really like Gareth Bale at Manchester United. I know he's injury prone. We can probably soak up his wages, but now we filled all of our quota of attacking players. The only way United sign him is if we offload Anthony Martial, and that would be a horrifying move.
And I don't even know if you could soak his wages up, but I don't know if you could deal with him tactically. I think if you have Sanchez, Lukaku, and Bale, I think that your midfield have got to be defensive monsters to cover for that lack of work.
I also think the exact same about Juventus under Massimo Allegri. I don't think that he's going to play him on the left in that 4-2-3-1 that he likes playing, or that 4-3-3, because he doesn't do enough defensive duties. Look how regimented Mandzukic has to be in that system.
And also,
he's almost playing at
Costa.
left back in the Champions League, right?
I mean, his work rate is
Bernardeschi on the
outstanding.
right.
It's incredible. Yeah, and you've got Bernardeschi and Douglas
really
Costa.
exciting, yeah.
You know, Douglas Costa will do a job as well. Like, that's a guy who will work hard, and I think. I don't know, to be honest, what these things sound like with Bale is they do sound like he's depressed. And you could understand why, given the way that his career has kind of gone, all the talent in the world.
Shutting himself off from everyone, becoming isolated, being ambivalent towards team.
Especially doing it at the
activities.
national team. You'd have thought that under normal circumstances, you'd be like, maybe he's just disillusioned with Real Madrid and the national team would be a welcome break. But the fact he's doing this with the national team as well.
But also, I would be worried if I was signing Gareth Bale, because as soon as you go in for Gareth Bale, I think you leave the door ajar for Real Madrid to negotiate for one of your players. And the teams that could potentially go in, you look at Manchester United. As soon as we go for Gareth Bale, I think Real Madrid go, okay, I want David De Gea, or I want Paul Pogba.
Yeah.
Tottenham going for him, I want Harry Kane. Juventus going, I want Paulo Dybala. It's that sort of thing that it would concern me. As soon as I went in for one of their players, they would want one of ours. And there's no need to go in for that.
There's more value in it for them,
Yeah.
disrupting someone else's player than selling him outright, I'd imagine. But where do you guys think he's going to go? Let us know in the comments below. Puzzled. Our next story comes from The Times. Joseph, you touched briefly upon him. It's Toby Alderweireld and he looks apparently set to leave Tottenham Hotspur as a result of not getting the 150k per week that he would like to stay there. Now he's 29 next week, lads. He's just got over quite a sizable injury, hasn't he? Yep. But on his day, undoubtedly one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League. Do you think 150k is fair? Because Virgil van Dijk is being paid 180, and I would say he's a much more well-rounded player than the Dutchman, albeit, you know, Van Dijk has the potential to be a world beater. I'll start with you, Patrick Van Strand, because I know you're a big Pochettino fan and subsequently a big Toby Alderweireld fan. Yeah. But this is a guy who's in the defences he's been a part of, they've conceded less than a goal a game. If you're Daniel Levy, surely break that wage structure and then also do so for 2 or 3 players simultaneously. Yeah, I think they're going to have to do that at some point. But obviously, I think in Levy's case, probably what he'll want to do is give Harry Kane a big pay rise and then use that to like kind of scale wages for the rest of the squad. If you give Alderweireld whatever he's asking, you know, like 150k a week, maybe Harry Kane asks for 300k a week. Whereas if you can get Harry Kane nailed down on like 200, 220, then you can scale that down for the rest of the squad. The thing about capping it almost. Alderweireld's been amazing. He's been amazing, and Davinson Sanchez has had a really, really good first season, but still looks a little bit shaky in a 4 at the back. I think it will be a big loss for Spurs because they're going to have to go out and basically find another Sanchez overnight, and that's easier said than done. They tried to do it with Wimmer and they couldn't do it. Cameron Carter-Vickers didn't kick on in the way they wanted him to. This has got Man United all over it. It's got Man United all over it. Like, it's just I think next summer, if he's still there, then a 25 million release clause kicks in. So it would make sense to sell him for 40 or 50 this summer. 40 would be a little bit low. 50 would be great, I think. If they get 50 mil for him, and you know what? If you're United, you were saying this beforehand, like you probably pay it. Yeah, I mean, if they only want 50, I'd offer 60 and Smalling. Just take Smalling off our hands. For the extra 10. Joseph, what do you think?
I think United will be interested in him. Whether or not they'll get him remains to be seen. I do think he'll leave this summer. I agree with you guys. I think in the article they actually quote sources at Tottenham saying that 40 to 50 would be enough to get him out of the club this summer because of there's actually a clause active next summer, which means he can leave. There's like a buyout clause.
How much did they buy
25 million.
18.
There's about 18 because it was between them and Southampton. It went to tribunal, didn't it?
Yeah.
But I think he would be not the answer for Manchester United because he is still very injury prone. I think since he arrived in 2014, he's missed 50 games, which is quite a lot in just 4 years. But equally, he'd be a massive upgrade on any option we've got at centre-half. I agree with you. United are going to see a lot of defensive sales this summer. Darmian's going to go. Daley Blint's going to go. I think Darmian will probably go to Juventus, which will be an interesting one.
I mean, they'll probably turn him into
Blint will probably go back to Holland. I don't really see where else he goes, or maybe to a lower level Premier League team. I think one of Smalling and Jones will definitely leave. I don't think Lindelof has been the player Mourinho hoped he was going to be. That's like kind of ball carrying centre back that could just fit in immediately. Partly the reason for that is that Eric Bailly has been very injury prone this season, and that is a concern as well. I think a partnership of Alderweireld and Bailly, you look at that on paper and you think, bloody hell, that's fantastic. But then you think, realistically, how many games are those two going to play together with the injury records they've got? Yeah,
though in his first year, Alderweireld, I think he played 38 out of 38 Premier League games. Season after, I think he played 30 out of 38. I mean, like, admittedly, it's started to get worse now, and given that he's 28, you don't necessarily expect it to get better. I don't know.
£40 million for me as a Man United fan, 100% take.
Yeah, sure. Though there is the part of me as well that's just like, stop buying 28-year-olds from your rivals, Man United. Like they went and got Sanchez. They did it with Matic. If they do it with Alderweireld, then I'm just like, you've just got this old squad, and you're gradually starting to take minutes away from players who need them.
You would say that if the 29-year-old Alderweireld came in and a 8-year-old Chris Smalling left for 15 to 20 million pounds, I'd be pretty happy with that kind of movement. Maybe Chris Smalling goes to a Watford or something like that, and then in comes Toby Alderweireld, a similar sort of age profile.
He's
a big upgrade.
He's off to West Ham.
Probably somewhere like that, or Phil Jones leaves, or maybe you even say to Tottenham, look, do you want Phil Jones as part of the thingy deal? And they say, off. But equally, I think one of those two will probably leave this summer.
They'll ask for Martial, mate.
My only concern
I
is
think
that
it's worth persisting with Lindelof, but they
Yeah.
have a very similar skill set, don't they?
But it's quite a nice
Alderweireld
problem to
and
have.
Lindelof.
What
He'd be a great guy
Lindelof's
for him to learn.
Lindelof's 22, Bailly's 23, so quite young profiles. You've also got Axel Tuanzebe coming through as a potential centre half, though he might be more of a right back.
Fosu Mensah will
You've
come
got
back from
Fosu
loan.
Mensah coming back. So the younger centre halves we're quite well stocked with. Maybe you do need just better older ones. But I don't think United will be the only team in for a player of Toby Alderweireld's quality at £40 million. I think PSG will have a good go at him. I think maybe even Madrid, I don't see why Madrid wouldn't go for Toby Alderweireld if he was to become
I'd
available.
go for some.
Nacho can play centre back.
Yeah,
I
I'd
don't
go
think
for
he-
100%.
I'd go
He's
for
a
someone
massive
younger.
upgrade on
If I'm
Nacho.
looking to replace Ramos, then I look for somebody who's like 23, 24. I don't look for someone who's 28. I think.
Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe a Juventus.
But again, Rugani, Caldara, they've got Benatia there. I mean, Chiellini's still
But
doing
surely
a job.
Alderweireld would start for Juventus.
I think he'd probably start for any club he went to. I can't think of a team who
But
wouldn't want to use him.
he's-
Barcelona probably wouldn't play him.
He's
but
much
good
more of a
enough.
risk at 40 to 50 for Juventus than he is for
It's
Manchester
true,
United.
but
isn't it?
I think Man United. Well, we can all say right now that
think-
it's the most likely destination for Toby
If
Alderweireld.
Conte was to stay, Chelsea might be a left field destination for him.
Not a bad
because
But I think Tottenham are more likely to
he
sell to
doesn't mind
United than
shopping
Chelsea.
old, does he?
Don't know why.
He's better than
And
Rudiger.
my God, is he better than Gary Cahill, Rudiger, David Luiz will probably be looking to find
Yeah.
a new home.
Yeah, then you've got a backline of
Christensen
Azpilicueta, Christensen,
and
and
Alderweireld. It's nice.
That's
It's-
really good.
It's tasty. But I just think United will outspend Chelsea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
that's
was a
pretty
couple of times against Barcelona where Rudiger was unbelievable. Like, just
Yeah.
carried the ball 40, 50 yards.
He did have a good game.
He sprayed a great ball from left to right, and I thought, okay, like, is this the player that Chelsea bought? Like, maybe he is actually half decent.
Who would you go if you were
But also,
Tottenham to
gonna have a
replace
chicken.
Toby Alderweireld? It's a bit of a left field question, but who would you get to replace him? Because he is such a hard player to replace. I know you touched on it earlier, but he's not only kind of the leader of the backline, he's, I would say, the most comfy on the ball. His passing ability is fantastic,
mean, if-
especially that diagonal spray that he likes
If they're
to do.
going to persist with three at the back, then you'd imagine they'd have to replace him with someone equally as able, because he's definitely the best at breaking the lines in that defence.
Yeah.
isn't he? Sanchez, although Sanchez is comfortable on the ball, I haven't seen anything that would suggest his distribution is anywhere near on par.
Yeah.
And Vertonghen's more of the kind of takes up that sweeper role, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It'd be a big ask. to
Big
replace
ask.
him.
The problem is a lot of the outstanding
Kimpembe.
defenders I could think of who are great passers. Well, it depends where it goes, doesn't it? Like a lot of them are left-sided, and you've got Vertonghen there. So Stefan de Vrij, it looks like he's going to be available this summer. He's an excellent centre back, but he's left-sided. Kalidou Koulibaly, left-sided. Romagnoli,
I
left-sided.
think
all,
Koulibaly cost
all these
more than
guys.
that 50 that Chelsea put in for him as well last year. Maybe Skriniar as well from Inter Milan.
He'd be
He's
great,
a
and he plays
great
on the right.
candidate.
That would be good as
But
well.
I think he'd cost quite a lot.
It's probably another reason United would quite like him. Our passing options from the back are very, very poor. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
Toby Alderweireld was in there and distributing
De Gea
from
to
deep,
Valencia down line.
yeah.
Plus, if you're
back
going
to Valencia, across to Young, back to
and if you're going to try and bed in a new left back and a new right back in the near future, which you are at Man
Yeah.
United, then it makes sense to get somebody in who's just like a safe pair of hands, will cover for some teething problems over the next 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, and also Mourinho just always makes obvious signings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does.
Do you know what I mean? That sounds so stupid, but it's never a left field signing with Mourinho. It's always the most obvious player for that position.
Yeah, he's very norm-core.
Yeah, it's
transfer guy.
Football Manager search highest rating.
He is wholly
sign.
predictable. But still, we're no closer to an answer. Guys, what do you think? Vote in the poll above Toby Alderweireld's next destination. Last but not least, we have our match preview, lads. Couple of humdingers this weekend
Okay.
in the British Isles.
Yes.
What game are you looking forward to, Josephine?
Probably Man United Chelsea more than the Carabao Cup final, although the Carabao Cup final will be a better game to watch.
Okay.
That's probably true.
Yeah, definitely true. Man United at Old Trafford, this is going to be pretty dull, I'd expect. A Mourinho side that have been not on the best form overall. Obviously, a poor result midweek against Sevilla. But equally, Chelsea not been on the best form domestically anyway. And they'll probably be more happy during 1-1 against Barcelona than United 0-0 away in Sevilla.
Yes.
But having said that, United's home record is really strong. I think Mourinho in this game will just kind of shut it down effectively. It's going to be interesting to see whether Paul Pogba plays. Probably not. And if he does, if it's in a 2 or a 3, because I think Herrera might still be injured, which is really annoying, so we won't be able to play that midfield three. McTominay will probably start in this game. I think United are only 3 points clear of Chelsea, so this is a massive game for Mourinho, because if we lose this, I think we can drop to 4th. And if we drop to 4th, then things start to panic, I think, behind the scenes at Manchester United. Although I think we do have a much better goal difference than Chelsea. I think it's 6 better, so they'd have to give us a spanking for it to be a full turnaround.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a tight one. I think Man United will nick it 1-0. What do you boys think?
United have 9 clean sheets in their last 11 games in all competitions. Like that.
Yeah, DavidDeGea.com.
Yeah, I think that is David De Gea. Like, people give Mourinho credit, but I think we all know that David De Gea is having the best season from a goalkeeper I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Manchester United are conceding 13 shots per game, which is double that.
And we don't concede many goals.
3 more than Liverpool, and you're still not conceding goals. But I think that may start to change towards the tail end of the season.
Yeah.
Sure, there's only so much David De Gea can do. He's putting in superhuman performances, isn't he, at the moment? But the defence in front of him are getting worse.
This is the game that you hope.
You conceded 26 shots against Sevilla.
At the other end, though, this is the
saves.
kind of game you hope Alexis Sánchez steps up in, because we have a bit of a problem at United at the moment with some of our best players not performing in big games. Romelu Lukaku, suspect in large games. Paul Pogba, not been the best in big games. Our defence, shambles in big games.
So some people could answer their critics in this game, right? It's a great opportunity.
Big time.
Willian, if he starts, he's in absolutely scorching form, isn't he?
That'll make me nervous.
I think he could have a big part to play in this.
Yeah.
But he was brilliant
Score
against
prediction
Barcelona.
then?
I'm going to go for... I'm actually going to go for 2-1 Chelsea.
Really? A Chelsea win at Old Trafford?
I don't know why. I can just see Conte on the sideline now, celebrating, me just texting you, like...
I'll be on a flight with you, mate, so...
Oh, yeah.
It'd be an odd
Top
text.
secret
I won't text
vlog.
with you.
That. Patrick?
Yeah, I kind of fancy Chelsea as well.
Really?
I think United are so bad defensively,
Yeah.
you can literally just walk through them. And I think Morata will be back for this one and mostly fit.
Hopefully not.
Like, having not played the other day. I don't know, I just think they've got enough.
Has the man even got a back at this point?
No.
Has his back just been
Doesn't
grafted
matter.
off?
He actually doesn't. What do you call them spineless things? What's that called?
An invertebrate.
Non-invertebrate. He's an invertebrate. Morata the invertebrate.
You would know.
Such a Tomlinson.
What's the other game?
Behind those things.
Is there another game?
Carabao
Yeah, the other
Cup
game's the
final?
Carabao
Patrick,
Cup
go on,
final.
talk it up for a little bit.
Yeah, Man City are facing Arsenal on Sunday in the Carabao Cup final, and then they actually play each other again in the Premier League on Thursday, which I imagine will be really fun because it's at the Emirates. Arsenal's home form is the second best in the league, joint with Man United, so they might actually put in a decent performance, and obviously City are almost irresistible at the moment. I don't know, the Carabao Cup final...
How badly was the Ostersund's result denting your confidence?
I didn't watch it because I didn't care, but I don't know. Like, to be honest, it's one of those things where when you win the first fixture 3-0,
No
you
focus.
wonder how much focus to give on the second one. But by all accounts, it was a horrific performance, which does not shock me at all. I think I don't know, Arsenal's form in finals over the last few seasons has been very, very good. They've won their last 6 finals if you count the Community
Although
Shield.
equally, I think Pep Guardiola has only ever lost 1 final in all cups.
Yeah, the Copa del Rey.
Yeah, in 2010.
Yeah,
so
against
I think
Mourinho.
I can only see a Man City win here.
Well, I can only see a Man City win because Man City are just better than Arsenal. But, you know, when Arsenal lost against Tottenham the other day, it was their first defeat in 10 visits to Wembley.
Yeah, you are right. It's such an Arsenal thing. They'll go and win this game, and they've been like other big matches this season.
But they've been poor recently. They lost to Ostersunds, obviously. They lost to Tottenham. They lost to Swansea. And in all those, well, except for the Ostersunds one, in all those games they were comfortably second best. It wasn't like a freak result. City have just got enough to do it, and I don't know.
Aguero's on fire as well.
Yeah, I just think that this is a
dead
City
rubber.
win. Yeah, I mean, there's no Lacazette as well. Mkhitaryan's cup tied, so your attacking options are a little bit more limited. It's got to be a Iwobi or an Aubameyang doing it, but I mean, that's not terrible 3 to have. But
Yeah, I'm going to go for 2-0 Man City, Aguero, double.
I'll go 3-1 Man City.
Just mix it up then. I'll go 2-1 to the arse. Aaron Ramsey double.
Oh, he might not be fit. Don't think he's
I
going
think
to
he
be fit.
will. I think he will be fit.
Him and Ozil both
Why did
facing fitness
Ozil
tests.
Yeah,
miss
but
out at
Injured.
Ostersund's?
Injured.
I thought it was illness, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was illness, and also I think it's just like I'm not playing Ostersunds. I think that was a bit of that from Mesut Ozil.
Oh dear.
Yeah, fair play.
£300 a week.
What
I'm
do you
not
guys
playing
think?
These pubbers.
Are Ostersund's pubbers? Let us know. And, actually, I want to know your score predictions, so tweet me. So that was this week's Continental Club, guys. Thank you for watching. As always, get at us with your suggestions for things you'd like to see us answer or hear us answer on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, who knows, all the mediums, except dance. Anyway, what else is on lads, 90+1.
90+1 facts about Mohamed Salah should be up by now, so make sure you go over and check that out. Kieran smashed the edit as usual, and we've got some new strands coming up, so make sure you're commenting below. Try not to be too mean though, because it's just not. What are you doing?
I'm not doing anything.
This is your tradition at the end of
Why do you always get so aggy, man?
With your chair.
What are you doing,
Jesus.
man? Crack at it.
Can we not just leave an inch between the chairs? So that
We can't, mate.
I'm a shock absorber for Hamill.
Because this set is like so tight. If we zoom out even an inch, we're basically seeing ceiling.
Just sit still and tell us what's on Football Daily.
Football Daily coming this weekend. We actually did Sunday Vibes yesterday. We are back in the pub, so get excited because it's actually the best one we've seen in ages.
400 likes.
I know, it's actually the best Sunday Vibes we've shot in ages.
It was very good.
There's also a top 10 on Saturday, can't remember what it is, and VFN today, so go and watch them.
Quality.
Wow.
Bye.
Bye.